Good evening. Thank you for coming out tonight. I'm Angela Reisler, Lead Support Teacher Specialist for National Board Certification, and it's my great pleasure to welcome you to the Achievement Ceremony for the NBC Class of 2020. Wow. It sounds funny to say that, doesn't it? First, I'd like to say thank you to the Annapolis High School Principal, Patrick Jelinas, and the school staff for everything they've done to make this ceremony possible. They have truly been AACPS awesome in helping us with the logistics of this event. Let's give Annapolis High School a hand. I would also like us to do an extra a round of applause for Old Mill High School Red, White, and Blue Jazz Band. Thank you so much. And their director, who is also at NBCT, Dan Sitomer. They're amazing. All right. And now to our honorees. Your family members, friends, principals, and colleagues are here to celebrate your amazing achievement, and you deserve every bit of recognition for your hard work. National Board Certification is the highest teaching certification that a teacher can earn. It involves a rigorous process where teaching practice, planning, instruction, analysis, assessment, and reflection must be at exemplary levels as measured against national standards. This process also includes 4 assessments and can take up to 3 years to complete. Decades worth of research shows that students of NBC teachers outperform their peers on achievement tests. In addition, school districts with a high concentration of NBC teachers are likely to see improvements in school culture, collaboration, and teacher retention. With the second highest number of NBC teachers in the state, AACPS has made a clear commitment to supporting our teachers as true leaders in the profession. Our NBC teachers make significant contributions beyond the classroom. On any given day, you can find an NBC teacher serving on several school committees, writing curriculum, presenting at county, state, and national conferences, consulting on state and national projects, and writing literature and textbook for national distribution. There's a flyer that was inserted into your program to let you know just some of the things that NBCTs in our county are doing at the school, the county, the state, and the national level. Not only are AACPS NBC teachers influencing our next generation of difference makers, but they are the difference makers of today. Let's give them a round of applause. Honorees, as an NBCT, you not only strengthen our profession, but you also strengthen our students. We thank you for what you are doing. Our students are fortunate to have dedicated teachers who are lifelong learners and strive to improve their teaching practice. Even after they've been teaching for 20 years, they went through this process to further improve themselves and their teaching practice. I think that's really commendable. I am privileged to have you as an NBC colleague. I would like to now introduce a few important guests who are here to celebrate your achievement with us this evening. We have Vice President Melissa Ellis of the Board of Education. These are from the Board of Education, Candace Antwine. Board Member Bob Leib. And Board Member Dana Schalheim. And from Anne Arundel County Public Schools, we have Superintendent of Schools, Dr. George Arlotto. Deputy Superintendent of Schools, Monique Jackson, who is also at NBCT. And Deputy Superintendent of Schools, Maureen McMahon. She's here. Come on down. All right. And we have other special guests. The Executive Director of the Teachers Association of Anne Arundel County, Kenneth Page. And National Board Fellow, Matthew Poth. I'd also like to acknowledge any members of the Anne Arundel County Public Schools executive team and senior staff who are here to celebrate with us today. Thank you for coming. At this time, it is my pleasure to invite Mrs. Ellis and Dr. Arlotto to bring greetings.
Good afternoon. As a school board vice president and a parent, I am proud to congratulate you on achieving the National Board Certification. Board certification has gained momentum countywide, statewide, and on a national level. I applaud Anne Arundel County for actively pursuing and supporting this important professional development credential. I hear more and more about board certification, and indeed it sounds like an impressive accomplishment, but I figured it was time I learned more about what it all means. I did some research, and on the website for the National Board for Professional Teaching Standards, I learned that teachers, quote, must exhibit a deep understanding of their students, content knowledge, use of data, assessments, and teaching practice. I love that a deep understanding of our students was named first on that list of standards. Education begins with the student, and none of the rest can be accomplished without the intentional practice of understanding your students. Our very best teachers demonstrate this understanding, and I know that in this room are many of our very best teachers. Pursuing National Board Certification is a rigorous process that involves completion of a portfolio around the 5 core propositions. These standards place values on each candidate's constant analysis, evaluation, and strengthening of practices and programs to improve student learning. You have looked through the lens of what your students learned and could do as a result of your teaching. I have been told that the highlight of the National Board Certification portfolio is reflection. The National Board Certification process requires teachers to become reflective practitioners. Reflective educators sustain their process of always improving, and in doing so, model to students that they strive to be the best they can be. Reflection on your teaching experiences is a means to collect data, analyze actions, and most importantly, constantly improve instruction and ultimately student achievement. You are leading the way to making teaching a profession that is dedicated to student learning while upholding high standards for professional performance. You have raised the bar for other teachers to follow in Anne Arundel County and throughout the state. Your accomplishment will help lead to a stronger teaching force and higher student achievement. Once again, congratulations on this outstanding accomplishment, and thank you for all that you do for our students. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, and I'm so glad I was able to share my remarks before him because he's a tough act to follow. So, our superintendent, Dr. George Arlotto.
Good evening. I did see board member Julie Hummer come in the dark. If you'd like to come up and join us, Ms. Hummer, that would be great. Come on up. So good evening. Welcome to our families, friends, and colleagues of our National Board Certified honorees. It's taken a lot of work to get to this point, either for the first time, for those of you, or those that are renewing your certificate. We're incredibly proud of you and your accomplishments. Thank you for wanting to improve your craft. We know that good teaching is both an art and a science, and you are masters of both. You began your NBCT journey to improve your skills so that you could improve your students' learning. As we say in AACPS, you grow yourself to grow others, and in your case, your students. Let me take that thinking one step further and offer you a challenge this evening. Beyond your students, how will you grow others? I suggest that as a nationally board certified teacher, you have the obligation to grow the people around you. You certainly have the knowledge, drive, and skills for successful classroom instruction, so how will you grow others? You are by definition a teacher leader, so how will you grow others? You are passionate about teaching and learning, so how will you grow others? We're proud of you and all that you've accomplished. I look forward to watching you continue to grow so that you can grow others. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Arlotto. And now I would like to introduce Mr. Kenneth Page, who's the Executive Director of Tech.
Thank you very much. We and I and TAC wanted to kind of just briefly join the celebration of the beauty, importance, and power of the work our teachers do all over the county. I want to thank you for allowing me to be here and allowing us to bring a few words. Russell was scheduled to be here tonight, but his schedule got our president got hectic and he asked me to step in. You'll notice he's a little taller and better looking than I, which is okay though. But again, we want to strongly kind of congratulate you on this really, really important milestone. Also acknowledge and offer gratitude and respect for how hard it is to kind of reach this certification and this milestone. And finally, again, just on behalf of TAC, we wanted to sincerely and warmly salute you and congratulate you for your hard work. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Page. Now it's my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Matthew Poth. He is a National Board Certified teacher, and he teaches 9th and 12th grade students at Parkview High School in Sterling, Virginia. He teaches World History, Geography 1, and U.S. Government. Poth's accomplishments over his 7-year career include the 2017-18 Teacher in Residence at the Library of Congress. He participated in 3 research programs through National History Day, focusing on World War I and II. He's had articles published and received a 2018-19 fund for the Teacher Fellowship, and he is a National Board Fellow. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our NBCT colleague, Matthew Poth.
Let me start by saying thank you to all of you, and to Anne Arundel County Public Schools for inviting me to speak at such an important event. And it's not going to get old. A huge congratulations to all of you. Give yourself a hand. So often, we as educators focus all of our energy and our attention towards our students. We dedicate our lives to the betterment of others in this truly selfless vocation, which makes it all the more special that so many people have taken the time to be here tonight to celebrate the 57 educators who have achieved or renewed National Board certification. Let that sink in for a minute. 57 of you. I mean, we have enough to start a football team. The Ravens might need a couple positions. I had to, I'm sorry. These 57 educators represent almost every job in education there is. We have teachers from elementary, middle, and high school. We have specialists, department chairs, and even assistant principals. Even assistant principals are renewing their certifications, demonstrating the importance of the administration staying involved and current in the demands of master teachers. To be honest, last week, or I guess 2 weeks ago now, when I was asked to give this keynote speech, I freaked out a little bit. I've never given a keynote speech, and I really didn't have a clue what to say. I did what my high school students would have done when they realized they pushed an assignment off to the last minute. I Googled it. After an hour or so of scrolling through results on how to give the greatest speech of all time, and then going down the rabbit hole of YouTube clips of Michael Scott, I realized I was way off task. So I decided to keep it simple and start by telling you a little bit about myself and why National Board is so incredibly important to me. This story starts a long time ago, when I was a high school student, so like a really long time ago. And to be honest, calling myself a student would be an exaggeration. I was well, there's kids in the audience, so we'll just say a rowdy teenager who thought he had the world figured out. I was working 2 jobs, I had a car and a girlfriend, and school just wasn't for me. I was simply counting the days until I could move away from home and enlist in the Marine Corps. I was the definition of a lazy student, and I skipped class as often as I could. When I turned 18, we were at the height of the war in Iraq, and I had to beg my teachers, literally beg my teachers, to give me a D so I could graduate and enlist in the Marines. To be very clear here, this was not a situation where my teachers had failed me, although at the time I'm positive I would have argued that. I had failed to connect with the education that I was being provided, and to be honest, I couldn't see a way that academics could better my life. Fast forward to 2008 and 2 grueling, life-altering deployments in Iraq, and I was faced with the choice that I knew would be the single most defining moment in my life so far. I could re-enlist, or I could leave the military and seek life elsewhere. The problem I faced was that I had been such a slacker in high school that I knew I was wholly unprepared for further education. After many long sleepless nights of contemplation, I decided to put my nose to the grindstone and relearn everything I should have learned in high school to be able to get into college. By some miracle, probably a computer glitch, I was accepted to Penn State University. Well, while there, I dedicated myself to my studies and managed to earn a degree in secondary education, which set me on the path that brings me here tonight before all of you. Now, my military and college experience were substantial parts of my journey to certification, but they were not the most important. This critical moment fell to a student I taught the year I decided to pursue National Board. Prior to seeking certification, a colleague and I discussed and read and investigated, like most of you I'm sure, the process, the time, the effort, and the money required to certify. When trying to come to a decision, I even had conversations with my students about the process and what I should do. I was pretty close to a no when fate stepped in. Near the end of the second marking period, I was having those tough conversations with students about grades. I had pulled one of my hard cases into the hallway to discuss her performance thus far in class and start an uncomfortable conversation about the possibility of summer school. Somewhere in our conversation, she slumped her shoulders and she said, "Mr. Poth, I'm already too far behind to catch up. What's the point?" Standing in front of me was a student it seemed everyone else had given up on, a student who had seemingly given up in herself. And I've got to admit, I recognized myself in her. I wanted to be a better teacher for her and knew that National Board was the way to do it. I told her that in my class, giving up wasn't an option. And then we struck a deal. We were going to meet twice a week after school, her to do her work and me to work on my components. And spoiler alert, I just wrote her a letter of recommendation for a financial scholarship to get her to be able to afford the college she's worked so hard to get into. And she's going to be the first person in her family to attend college. She would also be mortified to know I just told you that story. So now back to all of you. If your neighbors drifted off, give them a little nudge. We all had different reasons for pursuing certification. Some of us might have thought it was the next logical step in our growth as educators. while others may have been attracted by the pay bump the county offers. Others of us might have seen ourselves in a student and known it was the best way to help. But really, at this point, right now, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter why you chose to pursue. What does matter is that you have achieved, and this moment should not be seen as the end of your journey. You may not have known this when you opened the email to the fireworks and the magical sentence starting with "congratulations," or when you let out that breath of relief that had been building for months or even years. But when you opened that email, you did not end your journey. You simply turned the page and tacitly accepted a whole boatload of responsibilities. Surprise. By achieving, you have not only advanced yourself as an educator, but you have stepped into the role as a master teacher. This role is one of great responsibility and great reward. Like it or not, you are now a leader at your school. By going through the national board process, you have the ability to meaningfully reflect on your practice and make decisions that will push your students towards success. To drive home this point, consider this. And this is also in one of the handouts you guys got. I saw it while I was looking through it, so it's true. I'm not making this up. Over a decade of research has suggested that students taught by NBCTs gain up to 2 additional months of education over the course of a single school year. Imagine the impact 2 extra months of learning can have on our most vulnerable students. Now, expand that impact past your classroom and into the next room, or maybe the teacher down the hall. With so many of you achieving certification over so many different concentrations, you have the ability to impact all students over the course of their education. That means by continually focusing your teaching on the 5 core propositions, you collectively have the ability to deliver up to an additional 26 months of education per subject to students during their tenure at AACPS. 26 months. In addition to your classroom, you now have the ability to be an advocate for your entire school. As a national board certified teacher, you are an authority in your field. Your voice can be used to advocate for continued support from your district. You can speak with confidence about best practices for students with local and state policymakers because you are an expert. Simply put, being an NBCT will open doors that will enable you to grow as an educator. As I wrap up my remarks, allow me to challenge each and every one of you. Allow me to set forth the next steps in your process as a national board teacher. At the start of my speech, I told you about a young man who failed to engage with his education. Find each student in your class that fits that mold. Engage him or her. Use your skill and knowledge to identify the interests of that student and push them towards success. And don't give up on them. I know this from personal experience. The harder they push back, the more they are afraid to succeed, the more they are afraid to try and fail. Don't allow them to accept anything short of success, regardless of what they think their current plans are for the future. I challenge you to refuse to write off that student and to always be there with kind words and support. As a new crop of teachers consider whether to pursue or not, I challenge you to be an ally to them. Be the support that you received or that you wished you had received. When you find out they're wavering in their decision or struggling to keep their head above water, step up and help them succeed. Don't let them tap out just because it's too much work or they have too much going on right now. Remember what my student said to me in the hallway. I'm already so far behind. What's the point? We ask our students to do a lot every day, and many of them are faced with so much more than we will ever know outside of school. We should encourage ourselves and our colleagues to keep going as much as we encourage our students. I challenge you to help struggling teachers to be the role model for their students and to demonstrate that hard work pays off with perseverance. Demonstrate the value of National Board Certified Teachers and the impact we all have on the quality of education. Engage teachers from around the district and state to continue building a professional community that demands the best from every educator. Get involved with professional development and conferences, share your skills, and teach others what you've learned. I challenge you to find one way every month to share the power of certification with someone new. No pressure, but the students we are currently teaching will take care of us when we can't take care of ourselves. So we are literally all relying on you. Thank you, and again, congratulations.
Thank you for taking time to share your wisdom and encouragement, Matthew, and thank you also for your service. Now I would like to invite our board members, Dr. Arlotto, Dr. McMahon, if you're still here, and Mr. Did he leave? Oh, no, there he is, Mr. Page, and everyone else up here. So I would like to invite you to come and stand here on the wood part in front of the blue tables. And Dr. Arlotto, if you would stand on the first white tape mark. And I'd also like to invite Deputy Superintendent and fellow NBCT Monique Jackson to the stage, and she gets the privilege of reading everyone's name and their cert area that they certified in. While that is happening, I'd like to explain a few things, and I don't know who's in charge of the lights, but could you bring them up just a little, please, so our honorees can find their way. I think they're coming up. All right, so while the lights are coming up, I'd like to explain a few logistics. Our honorees will proceed down the aisle to the steps at the end of the stage to your right. So teachers, you have a little number card. We're going to start with 1 and go along the wall all the way up. So you can, when your eyes adjust, you can make your way over there, and Jennifer Montagnino will help you. Okay? All right. So our honorees will proceed down the aisle to the steps at the end of the stage to your right. Each teacher will wait for his or her name to be called. Teachers, when your name is called, please walk up the steps to receive your certificate and onto the red carpet of honor. Proceed across the stage to greet our dignitaries and be photographed with Dr. Arlotto. After your picture is taken, come across, receive your congratulations, and you will come down the steps then over to the pinning table where you will be pinned by one of our professional learning facilitators. These are our NBC mentors who supported the candidates throughout the years, and I want to especially thank them for their tireless support of our candidates. Honorees, you may return to your seats once you've been recognized, and then remain in the auditorium for a big group picture on the risers in front. Families, you are welcome to come up to the front of the auditorium to photograph your honoree, but I would ask that you just please avoid blocking our photographer that is there, you can see. Okay, and now Ms. Jackson, it's time to announce the names of our honorees along with their category of certification. Samara Bassett isn't here, she's a I think she's a renewal, she's not here.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you again, Angela. As you all know, this is one of my favorite evenings of the year. I'm ecstatic to share this moment with you because as a fellow National Board Certified teacher, It is my great honor to present to you the members of the National Board Certified Class of 2019-2020, and to offer them my congratulations because I know firsthand what the journey is like and what it was like. And so, in addition to my congratulations, I offer you a challenge because in 10 years, no matter what part of the journey you're on, you will be offered the opportunity for renewal. And over those 10 years, you'll be able to reflect upon what doors has the certification opened for you, and have you opened them, and have you opened doors for others as a result. Without further ado, we will begin with our 24 first-time National Board Certified teachers. Nancy Anderson, Phoenix Academy, Exceptional Needs Specialist, Early Childhood through Young Adult. Jessica Angelo, Glen Burnie High School, Social Studies History, Adolescence, and Young Adulthood. Audria Atwood Starkey, Southern High School, Mathematics, Adolescence, and Young Adulthood. Carol Bach, Chesapeake High School, World Languages, Early Adolescence through Young Adulthood, Spanish. Jeanette Boyd, Tyler Heights Elementary School, Music, Early and Middle Childhood. Elizabeth Brady, Point Pleasant Elementary School, Generalist, Early Childhood. Tiffany Callahan, Old Middle School North, Science, Early Adolescence. Caitlin Connolly, Chesapeake Bay Middle School, English, Language Arts, Early Adolescence. Caitlin Cowden, Windsor Farm Elementary School, Literacy, Reading, Language Arts, Early and Middle Childhood. Stacy Erico, Glen Burnie High School, Science, Adolescence, and Young Adulthood Chemistry. Jennifer Escamilla, Hillsmere Elementary School, Library Media, Early Childhood through Young Adulthood. Amanda Gorski, Old Hill Elementary School, Generalist, Early Childhood. Emily Gray, Annapolis High School, English as a New Language, Early Adolescence through Young Adulthood. Jacqueline Class, Piney Orchard Elementary School, Generalist, Middle School, Childhood. Stacy Comsa, AACPS International Baccalaureate Office, Generalist, Middle Childhood. Bernadette Kraft, Severna Park High School, Mathematics, Adolescence, and Young Adulthood. Caitlin Lauer, Severna Park High School, Career and Technical Education, Early Childhood through Young Adulthood. Brandy Milhausen, AACPS Social Studies Office, Social Studies History, Adolescence, and Young Adulthood. Mallory Nehart, Brooklyn Park Middle School, Exceptional Needs, Specialist, Early Childhood through Young Adulthood. Michelle Power, Crofton Elementary School, Literacy, Reading Language Arts, Early and Middle Childhood. Caitlin Rudkin, Annapolis High School, English Language Arts, Adolescence, and Young Adulthood. Jennifer Saunders, AACPS English Language Acquisition Office, English as a New Language, Early Adolescence through Young Adulthood. Wendy Seneth, Magathy River Middle School, Social Studies, History, Early Adolescence. Deanna Walls, Brockbridge Elementary School, Exceptional Needs Specialist, Early Childhood through Young Adulthood. Now we will recognize those honorees who are receiving their second certification as part of the NBC renewal process, which is achieved every 10 years. We have an impressive 33 teachers in this category. Doris Anderson Page could not be here this evening. Lori Ann Balzano, Davidsonville Elementary School, Literacy, Reading Language Arts, Early and Middle Childhood. Sumaria Bassett, Meade High School, Science, Adolescence, and Young Adulthood. Could not be here this evening. Elise Bonacci, Georgetown East Elementary School, Literacy, Reading Language Arts, Early and Middle Childhood. Eve Case, AACPS Social Studies Office, Social Studies History, Early Adolescence. Keith Cook, Severn River Middle School, Science, Adolescence, and Young Adulthood. Christiana Dunlota, Brooklyn Park Middle School, Mathematics, Early Adolescence. Hannah Denny, Magathy River Middle School, Exceptional Needs Specialist, Early Childhood through Young Adulthood. Lindsay Ells, Hillsmere Elementary School, Literacy, Reading Language Arts, Early and Middle Childhood. Julie French from the AACPS World Language Office is not able to be here this evening. Lynette Gibson, Central Elementary School, Literacy, Reading Language Arts, Early and Middle Childhood. Cheryl Gormas, Southgate Elementary School, Generalist Early Childhood. Lisa Haste, Hilltop Elementary School, Literacy, Reading Language Arts, Early and Middle Childhood. Charlita Kennedy, Four Seasons Elementary School, Literacy, Reading Language Arts, Early and Middle Childhood. Marlene Kramer, Southern High School, Art, Early Adolescence through Young Adulthood. Jessica Lane, Mills Parole Elementary School, Literacy, Reading Language Arts, Early and Middle Childhood. Stephen Levy, Broadneck High School, English Language Arts, Adolescence and Young Adulthood. Lauren Long, Four Seasons Elementary, Literacy, Reading Language Arts, Early and Middle Childhood. Whitney McCain, George Cromwell Elementary School, Generalist, Early Childhood. Sharon Missick, Glendale Elementary School, Generalist, Early Childhood. Ellen Norris, Millersville Elementary School, Music, Early and Middle Childhood. Lauren Rackvick, Eastport Elementary School, Literacy, Reading Language Arts, Early and Middle Childhood. Victoria Romanowski, Glen Burnie High School, Science, Adolescence, and Young Adulthood. Janelle Skatimi Luoma, Chesapeake High School, English, Adolescence through Young Adulthood. Matthew Schrader could not be here this evening. Marvine Sharps, Tyler Heights Elementary School, Literacy, Reading Language Arts, Early and Middle Childhood. Robin Smith, Maryland City Elementary School, Literacy, Reading Language Arts, Early and Middle Childhood. Gail Snyder, South River High School, English Language Arts, Adolescence and Young Adulthood. Stacy Swingle, Oakwood Elementary School, Literacy, Reading Language Arts, Early and Middle Childhood. Stacy Taylor, Tracy's Elementary School, Literacy, Reading Language Arts, Early and Middle Childhood. Audra Wayland, Southern High School, World Language, Early Adolescence through Young Adulthood. Joseph Weicherich, AACPS Magnet Office, World Language, Early Adolescence through Young Adulthood. And last but certainly not least, Ashley Yuskavage. Arundel High School, World Language, Early Adolescence through Young Adulthood. Please join me in another round of applause to all of these exceptional AACPS awesome educators.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Before I make my final comments, honorees, please remember so that we can remain, so that we can invite you back to the front of the stage for a group class photo. Okay. I would like to express my sincerest thanks to our NBCTs and our National Board Professional Learning Facilitators, who are the backbone of our program and who helped make tonight a successful event. A lot of them came after they'd been teaching all day, and they helped set up, so I really appreciate their help. I would also like to recognize 3 learning facilitators who are Christina Bowman, Keith Cook, and Carrie Deaver. Would you please come up and join me on the stage? I'm not sure if Christina is here. She was feeling under the weather, so I don't see her. They coached and encouraged numerous candidates over the past 5 years. And Carrie, I would like to give this plaque to you. Thank you for your help. And Keith, thank you. Thank you very much. Stay up here a minute. Stay up here. For your invaluable service, this plaque is given in recognition of your, well, come back here. She's shy. All right, for your invaluable service, this plaque is given in recognition of your 5 years as a National Board Certified Candidate Support Provider, which now we've called, now their name has changed to Professional Learning Facilitators. Your dedication to our NBC candidates over the years is to be commended. Thank you so much, because we could not have a program if we didn't have consistent professional learning facilitators, and I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Now you can go. All right. I would also like to ask Linda Taylor to come up and join me. Linda has gone above and beyond in her support of candidates. She's been a professional learning facilitator for 10 years. I would like to thank you for your continued support in guiding our National Board candidates. Thank you for being the consummate team player, and your work has been instrumental in the success of the program. And I'm sorry this is your 10th year and you're not going to do it anymore, but you need a break too. So here is your certificate. Wait. And this is a little memento.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
So thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let's give her a hand. Okay. All right. Well, board certification is the best professional development any teacher will ever do, and anybody who has been at NBCT who has gone through the program said it was the best professional development they have done, because it really puts a microscope on your teaching practice. It's very personal, and it grounds you. We build the capacity of teachers, and we build the capacity of students. And similar to what Matt was saying, what will your legacy be? Your legacy is defined by your actions. It starts with the moment you determine to persevere or quit. And I know a lot of people out there were really contemplating quitting, but you stuck it out, and aren't you glad you did? With the knowledge and skills honed through the National Board Service, we should be the driving force of building the teaching practice to an accomplished level. And just continue to be that teacher who helps others, who encourages a new teacher. There's even some flyers on the back with a peacock on that says show your colors. So if you want to give one of those to a colleague at your school who you think would be a great candidate for National Board, grab one and give it to them tomorrow. And let's see here, just be that positive voice that encourages others, and continue to never stop learning. You can also be a professional learning facilitator for next year's group. Hint, hint. Just contact me if you're interested. So I would like to recognize the valuable support that you have had. So I'm sure that you agree that you could not have done this without the patience, understanding, and encouragement of your families and friends. This is a family affair, and they could not have done this without you. So let's thank our family that's helped us. And we'd also like to thank the principals for their leadership and support, and for those of you who could make it here tonight. And a special thanks to Steve Gray and the entire design and print team for the fantastic work with photography and videotaping and the printing of these programs and the certificates for the event. Again, my thank you to the Board of Education and Dr. Arlotto. I know that you've had a busy week. And I appreciate the effort you made in coming out and helping us. And thank you, Ms. Jackson, for helping us read the names of our honorees, and TAC for your enthusiasm and support for this program.